Contemporary Indigenous Australian Art and Native Title Land Claim. This paper represents the effective agency of Indigenous visual expression as a communication tool within the Australian legal system. It focuses on 3 case studies in the context of Australian legal system and how such visual presentations in the aforementioned cases were used and accepted as legitimate legal instruments. The focus is on 3 case studies, each differentiated by its distinct medium commonly used in Indigenous contemporary art, namely ink watercolors on paper, acrylics on canvas, and ochre on bark. The first study is a review of the way the diagrammatic landscape sketches of Murr in the Torres Strait. The second study references the use of acrylic paintings of the Nagurara Canvas 1 and Nagurara Canvas 2, which originated from the western desert of Australia. In the third study, the text investigates where the bark medium was successful in presenting visually encoded traditional knowledge for the 2008 native title claim of Blue Mud Bay region of Eastern Arnhem Land. Specifically, it's used in the Yarikala saltwater collection. A watershed moment in the history of Australian native title law occurred in 1992. The claimants proved that they had a continuing connection with the land in question and the rights and the interests in the land under Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders' traditional law and customs. As evidence of the legal determination of these land rights, the claimant, Eddie Koiki Mabo, submitted a series of maps of the blocks of lands he held on the Murr Island. The maps were executed using colored markers, black ink pen, and watercolor paint on note paper and represented cartographic diagrams indicating where the borders of his land were. The proof that established the Indigenous ownership of the island and supported the claims for the continuity of the Indigenous occupation and the maintenance of the traditional customs and laws on the island, and included archival material, wax cylinder recordings, photographs, and films that has been made by the Cambridge expedition to the Torres Strait in 1898. The consequences of the Mabo decisions were revolutionary within the delineation of the new type of land rights known as native title. It was recognized throughout Australia and triggered the lodging of the First Nations people's land title claims all over the nation. As regards the use of dotted acrylic paintings on the canvas as legal instruments to claim native titles, the year 1971 is significant. Papunya was a settlement established by the government in the early 1960s as a settlement for the tribal Aboriginals who had been persuaded, cajoled, pressured, even forced to abandon their own way of life in the desert. During this period of scarce resources, the desert men saw an opportunity to create paintings for sale. What appealed to them was the possibility to advance their cultural self-determination, take control of their culture. The founding of the Aboriginal-owned Papunya Tula Arts Cooperative by the Aboriginal men in 1972 It facilitated the production, administration, distribution, and sale of the traditionally inspired acrylic paintings. Furthermore, it fostered confidence in the artists and the strength of their culture and encouraged the use of paintings in the land title tribunals. These were accepted in these legal forums as living evidence of the reality of the artist's traditional tribal sovereignty over particular areas of land. This traditional connection to the land and its expression in the acrylic paintings were passionately explained in the comment by Kunti Jill Cooper, a desert elder and artist from Central Australia. When I'm gone, my grandchildren will be able to understand their culture when they see my paintings, it was told. An example of the successful use of the acrylic paintings as evidence in the land title claim is exemplified in 1997 for Determination Area A for the Nagura peoples. On this occasion, the Nagura 11 acrylic canvas was successfully used as a legal instrument for the determination of land title in the Great Sandy Desert in northwestern Australia. It was a collaborative artwork by over 50 artists. The presentation of this painted solution as an evidence to the land title tribunal was agreed to by the claimants because they were not fluent in English. They saw the familiar medium of painting as a way to graphically present their ideas to the tribunal, namely the relevant geographic and traditional information concerning their traditional ownership of the lands in question. The judgment also noted that artists demonstrated their connection to the land in question by painting country and places where they were born, found, and grew up. By contrast to the two former case studies, an example in the bark medium where map-like painted representations of the indigenous lands were used as visual evidence is the Yirrkala Saltwater Bark Collection land title claim of 2008. The legal instruments in question were the 80 bark paintings now in the collection of the National Maritime Museum in Sydney, which were painted in 1997. By painting these designs, we are telling you a story. From time immemorial, we have painted just like you use a pencil to write with. Yes, we use our knowledge to paint from ancient homelands to the bottom of the sea. The paintings were deployed as a form of collaborative community action. The paintings were accepted as title deeds of the artist's rights associated with the coastal intertidal zones. The paintings presented an argument that the coastal waters between the low and the high tide mark involve sacred sites both in physical and spiritual planes. The High Court decision gave Aboriginal ownership to 80% of the Northern Territory's coastline, a ruling that included a precedence over any commercial interests or fishing. The elucidation of the strategies used in 3 successful land title cases within Australian legal system, each relying on different visual artist representation, drawings on paper, acrylic on canvas, and ochre on bark, highlighted the legal agency of the visual art as a mode of Indigenous Australian cultural expression and demonstrated how they acted as a cultural evidence in establishing sovereignty over traditional lands.